So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to update the Stemcell of the deployment. I mentioned earlier that a Stemcell is a base image that BOSH uses to provision all the VMs that it requires to run the deployment, in this case the master node and worker nodes. A Stemcell is essentially a version of the operating system. It's a bare minimum OS that contains additional utilities such as the BOSH agent that we use to keep an eye on all the processes that run on each one of these VMs. And so whenever a security vulnerability is detected and patched, we want to make sure that we can update the operating system of all these VMs. And the Stemcell is a very interesting way to do this very quickly, because we can just tell BOSH, hey, this is the new Stemcell that has the patch, just apply it everywhere. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to confirm which are the Stemcells that we have running, that we had available. So I'm going to run a command called BOSH Stemcells, and that should give me the exact information of which Stemcell is in use. In this case, is the version 3.4.6.13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate that there is a problem with this version of the Stemcell, because there is a security vulnerability that has been detected, and our teams have very quickly provided us with a new version of the Stemcell. In this case, is going to be the version 3.6.8.15. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this new Stemcell to BOSH so that BOSH can use it in the deployments that it manages. So I'm going to run this command so that the Stemcell is directly downloaded into the BOSH director. Once that Stemcell is downloaded, I'm going to be able to use it and then tell BOSH to apply that new Stemcell to all the deployments. So now that the BOSH Stemcell has been uploaded, we're going to confirm that it's available for us to use. Running BOSH Stemcells again. We have the .15, which is the one that we just uploaded, and we have also the .13, that is the one that we were using before, and in fact we can see that it's marked with a star, which means it's in use by one of the deployments. We actually run BOSH deployments. We should be able to see that the existing deployment is using the .13. So now what we need to do is change the deployment and make sure that it uses the .15. So we're going to edit the manifest. We're going to go down to where the Stemcell version is defined, and we're going to change this with a 5. Now that that's ready, we can go ahead and run BOSH deploy tftr 09. There we go. And what BOSH is detecting is that this is not a new deployment. This is not a new cluster. We are using the same manifest and the same deployment name. So what it detects is that there is a change in the existing deployment, and that a new value for the version of the Stemcell has been detected. So I'm going to confirm that those are the changes I want to execute. And from this point on, BOSH is going to apply that Stemcell on every one of the instances that we have running. But before doing that, it needs to recompile some of the packages that were required by all the releases that we deployed, because we essentially effectively are changing the underlying operating system. So some of those releases need to be recompiled to properly run on that new version of the operating system. So BOSH is going to do that automatically using additional compilation VMs that will span for this. Now that the compilation is done, BOSH is going ahead and it's going to redeploy each one of these instances using canary deployment. So it's just going to deploy a canary to confirm that everything works well, and if something happens, it will definitely stop the deployment at that point. If the canary succeeds, then it will continue with the additional instances of the deployment. So in this case, for the master node, we only have one master node, so the new master node is the canary. In the case of the worker nodes, we will have the the first attempt to redeploy one of those worker nodes will be with a canary, and then after those are that canary succeeds, it will continue with the other nodes. Now, while this happens, obviously the master is down right now, so probably I can't access the API, but my application should have no impact whatsoever. I should be able to access it and write more messages without any problem. Because obviously, and in this moment in time, the worker nodes are not being affected. Once these rolling upgrades affect the worker nodes, the front-end application, which has 3 replicas, shouldn't be affected. Though, from the perspective of how we design the backend of this application, we only have one Redis master node, so the moment we hit that node, we may have some downtime in the application. Now, once the redeployment has finished, we can confirm that the new Stemcell that is active, that has been used, is the new one that we just uploaded. So if I run again the BOSH Stemcells command, I should get again the same list of 2 Stemcells, but we see that the star is now applied to the .15, which is the new one that we deployed. And if I run BOSH deployments, or specifically, we can see that the Stemcell that is in use by the CFCR deployment is the new one. So this essentially means that we have upgraded the operating system that is used on all the instances of the cluster to a newer version that potentially can have a fix to a security vulnerability. And we've done that with just a simple command, letting BOSH update it across all instances of the cluster. And it does it in such a way with a canary and then rolling upgrades that there's only one instance at a time being replaced, so that your applications can have 0 downtime, as long as you have obviously more than one instance of that application.